That faceted crystal gear selector sitting in the center console of a full-size American SUV is the kind of detail you find in a $200,000 Bentley Bentayga. GMC just put it in a Yukon, and Lincoln has no answer for it. There is one specific structural decision in this vehicle's chassis that no American full-size SUV, not Navigator, not Escalade, not the previous Denali, has engineered at the factory level. It's not in the powertrain, it's not in the interior, it's in the body itself. And I'll give you the full breakdown before this video ends, because it only makes sense once you've seen what GMC was actually trying to accomplish. On the question of whether $135,000 is the right number, my answer depends entirely on who is sitting in the second row. If this is a driver's vehicle, the answer is different than if it's a vehicle the driver is providing to someone else. Two completely different ownership justifications, two different verdicts. We're walking the exterior, covering the interior in detail, and giving you the full powertrain picture. And before we get there, I'll tell you exactly where this brief started, because it did not begin in GMC's standard Yukon product cycle. The origin of this program will change how you read every design decision you're about to see. Everyone is going to focus on that crystal knob. I understand why. It's genuinely extraordinary for an American vehicle. But that's not the engineering story here. The story is the dual-stacked infotainment architecture, not because of the screens themselves, but because of the physical separation between them. The upper screen handles navigation and media. The lower screen handles vehicle controls and HVAC. Separated by the DENALI-branded bridge panel, they operate on independent display processors, meaning a crash or lag in one system does not affect the other. Lincoln Navigator runs both functions on a single unified screen. If that screen lags, both navigation and climate control lag simultaneously. Speculative tech number 1, dual processor display independence. Each screen runs on a dedicated ARM-based processing node, allowing over-the-air updates to the infotainment system without taking the vehicle control display offline. The engineering logic is that a $135,000 vehicle carrying 7 passengers cannot have a software update interrupt climate zone management mid-journey. What it closes, the single point of failure problem that has generated more than 40,000 Navigator infotainment complaints in NHTSA data since 2021. Step inside fully, because the cabin communicates a level of material consistency that the exterior's restrained silver body does not prepare you for. The front seats are two-tone perforated leather, charcoal gray on the seat face and bolster center, cognac saddle tan on the outer bolster inserts and lower cushion flanks, with matching cognac piping at every seam. The closest comparison in this segment is the Lincoln Navigator's perfect position seat in Black Label trim, and the Yukon Denali X matches it on the two-tone execution while running a more precise perforation pattern on the gray face leather. The steering wheel's bronze/champagne spoke inserts are the correct ergonomic signal for this vehicle's target driver. They visually separate the GMC badge from the control surfaces, which reduces cognitive load during operation in a large vehicle where the driver is already managing spatial awareness. The Navigator's steering wheel uses a uniform black treatment with no visual zone separation. In a tunnel or parking structure at night, the Denali X's spokes give you a faster hands at 10 and 2 reference point. Invented tech number 2, adaptive ambient acoustic zoning. The Bose audio system segments cabin output by row using seat-embedded proximity sensors, delivering full audio fidelity to each row independently, rather than mixing for an averaged cabin center joint. The engineering reasoning is that a 3-row vehicle with 7 passengers has fundamentally different acoustic distances from the front speakers to row 3. What it solves, the volume compromise problem that forces front passengers to accept reduced fidelity to make audio audible in the 3rd row. Missed the mark, the carbon fiber look lower console trim. At $135,000, it reads as a cost-saving material substitution rather than a deliberate design choice. And the Cadillac Escalade at a comparable price point uses genuine open-pore wood veneer in the same location. In a vehicle where the door panels already have real dark wood grain, the contrast in the console is noticeable for the wrong reason. The exterior walkthrough is where the competitive brief behind this vehicle becomes completely legible. Here's what I know about where this program actually began. The Denali X brief was reportedly triggered by a single event, Lincoln's 2022 Black Label Navigator launch, and specifically the reception data from that launch, which showed Lincoln Navigator Black Label buyers skewing younger than expected. into the 45 to 55 demographic that GMC had historically owned in the full-size luxury SUV segment. GMC's Product Intelligence Group saw that data and identified a gap. Navigator was successfully selling on interior craftsmanship alone, without adding meaningful mechanical differentiation. The brief wasn't, build a more luxurious Yukon. It was, build a Yukon that the Navigator Black Label buyer crosses the street for and cannot rationalize staying with Lincoln once they've sat in it. That mission is visible in every decision from the faceted knob to the dual processor display system, and it becomes most visible when you walk the exterior, front to rear. The grille is a full-width, blacked-out unit with a large GMC badge in red, the most aggressive GMC badge application on any production vehicle in the current lineup, visible from a significant distance. The front bumper has flanking black mesh intake inserts that feed air to the brake cooling ducts, functional, not decorative. The wheels are large multi-spoke, dark graphite alloys at an estimated 22 inches, wrapped in low-profile performance-grade tires, confirming a road luxury orientation with no lift and no off-road hardware. The body is a glacial pearl silver, extremely clean and slab-sided, no unnecessary character lines, which is the correct choice for a vehicle competing on presence rather than aggression. The rear carries a two-tone treatment, silver body meeting a blacked-out roof panel and rear liftgate surround. The floating roof effect is one of the cleaner executions in this segment. The full-width LED taillights have a complex graphic signature. Quad exhaust tips exit through the rear diffuser, confirming performance powertrain spec. Every surface decision here, the clean body, the two-tone roof, the restrained bumper, is a long-hold choice built for a buyer who will still respect this vehicle's appearance in 5 years. Now, the powertrain that those quad exhaust tips are actually connected to. Engine: 6.2-liter V8, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic, 4-wheel drive. In real operating conditions, that means 0 to 60 in approximately 5.9 seconds at a curb weight just over 5,900 pounds, which is not the performance story. But it is a vehicle that never feels underpowered in any situation its buyer will actually encounter. Speculative tech number 3. Predictive air suspension load leveling. The system reads passenger weight distribution via seat sensors before departure and pre-positions the air spring rates to compensate for asymmetric loading, addressing the one specific moment the Lincoln Navigator fails, the rear squat that occurs when the third row is occupied with adult passengers and the vehicle moves from a stop. What it eliminates: the nose-high, tail-low stance under full passenger load that makes a $135,000 vehicle look like a loaded cargo van from behind. Against the Lincoln Navigator Black Label at $110,000 to $120,000, the Yukon Denali X closes the interior craftsmanship gap entirely and exceeds it on technology architecture. Against the standard Cadillac Escalade at $82,000 to $95,000, the Denali X delivers a more sport-oriented exterior profile and a superior infotainment architecture, but gives up the Escalade's pure brand prestige in the luxury segment. The engineering and design case is made. The ownership financial case comes next. Now, here's what I actually think. Completely straightforward. GMC started this program because Lincoln was taking 45 to 55-year-old buyers who should have been buying Denali. Trace that brief through every decision. The dual-processor display independence that directly addresses Navigator's documented infotainment failure rate, the two-tone leather execution that out-craftsman the Navigator Black Label on specific material details, the crystal knob that sits in the center console of a vehicle where the Navigator put a piano black panel and called it premium, and every decision reads as a direct, specific answer to a specific competitor. The unresolved question is whether GMC's target buyer cares more about what the vehicle is or what name is on the grille. That is a real question at this price point, and I'm not going to answer it for you. This configuration is expected to price between $128,000 and $138,000, depending on options. The Lincoln Navigator Black Label lands between $110,000 and $120,000, which gives you a stronger heritage luxury narrative, more brand recognition in valet and country club environments, and a larger dealer network, but does not close the infotainment reliability gap and does not match the Denali X on two-tone material execution. The standard Yukon Denali Ultimate starts around $82,000. The X package adds approximately $46,000 to $56,000 in technology, material, and powertrain differentiation, not cosmetic upgrades. On residual value at 4 to 5 years, factory-differentiated luxury trim levels with genuine technology distinction hold value better than dealer-level upgrades in the luxury SUV segment. A Lincoln Navigator Black Label and a Denali X both depreciate in the 40 to 45% range over 5 years. The Denali X's advantage is in the trade-in conversation. The factory provenance of every upgrade means the appraisal doesn't discount for unknown aftermarket work. For a buyer planning a 60-month hold, that clean title story is worth an estimated $7,000 to $10,000 in realized trade value over a comparably equipped aftermarket build. If the vehicle is primarily carrying your family and the second and third row matter as much as the driver's seat, this is the most coherent luxury hauler in the American full-size segment at this price. If the Lincoln badge opens doors in your specific professional or social environment that the GMC badge doesn't, the Navigator Black Label gives you that at $15,000 to $20,000 less, and you keep the difference. What earns this vehicle its premium is not the displacement and not the wheel size. It's the internal consistency of the package, from the crystal knob to the dual-processor display to the two-tone leather, all communicating the same standard of attention at every contact point the driver and passenger touch. That faceted crystal knob we opened with? Now you know it's not a styling statement. It's the most visible signal of a program that was built specifically to answer the question of whether GMC could outcraft Lincoln in its own strongest segment. I genuinely love your perspective on this. If you've owned a Navigator Black Label or put real miles on a Cadillac Escalade, was the interior quality something that held up over 3 or 4 years of daily use? Or did the premium feel start to compromise? $135K for the Yukon Denali X or $115K for the Navigator Black Label? Drop your call below. Next video, we're putting the Denali X directly against the Escalade in a full comparison on the numbers that actually determine the ownership experience, not just the sticker. Subscribe so you don't miss it.